Greetings, Cyclone Hockey fans, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Al Murdoch Show for the 2011-2012 season. I'm your host, Kevin Wey, and I'm joined by the namesake of this show, Cyclone Hockey General Manager and Head Coach, Dr. Al Murdoch. Coach, any opening remarks before we get the show rolling?
Oh, man, alive. Things didn't slow down at all. We had a great weekend last weekend, of course, but actually all the coaching staff went on the road on Sunday. Kyle McDonald headed up to Saskatchewan, and he's doing some work with the hockey programs up there and doing some recruiting at the same time. I headed off to Montreal, participated in the Hockey Equipment Certification Committee meeting Sunday and Monday. And, we just had a lot of guys out on the road traveling and doing lots of stuff. But that's what it's all about. That's what makes Cyclone Hockey the best.
Sure. All right. As Coach may have hinted upon, we have a great show in store for you. We'll be joined a little bit by Brody Toigo. We'll be joining us later on the ice this season. We'll talk about that more. And we'll also be previewing this weekend's series against the University of Arizona Wildcats. But first, we have an excellent weekend of hockey to talk about against the ACHA 11th ranked Oakland University Golden Grizzlies, Coach.
You bet. Great weekend. Oakland, without a doubt, is a top, I think, a top 10 team, and they came in ranked number 11th. We were ranked number 9. Had a big target on our back, I think. But our team played very well. I was real pleased. We played two different goaltenders on the two nights. Peter Alexander on Friday night and Paul Karras on Saturday night, and they both played extremely well. I think our defense is clicking on all cylinders right now and playing extremely well. We're healthy right now, and at forward, getting a lot of different goal scorers, and they're doing the right stuff.
Sure. You touched upon this already a little bit, but obviously Friday night's game, the 5-3 victory against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, that was on large part thanks to 3 power play goals, which helped boost the power play efficiency quite a bit. So I guess what would you say is kind of helped the team's power play click so well, in particular on Friday, and then particularly against a team that is of the caliber of Oakland?
Oh, you bet. Oakland had a pretty good penalty killing crew, and I thought our 2 power play units, the red unit and the yellow unit, we go by colors, stepped it up real well. The yellow unit in particular, they're the young guns, 3 freshmen at the forward positions, freshmen on defense with Antti Halanto and Brandon Clark, being the only veteran in the group of 5, and that got him on Friday night player of the game recognition and player of the week overall. So played really well. The yellow unit getting 3 power play goals was outstanding. They actually had 4 goals on the night with, I think it was Buttermore got the empty net goal at the end of the game.
Yep, absolutely right. With there weren't quite as many power play goals Saturday night, but the team did score 3 fairly quick ones first half of the first period. I guess how important was building that early lead in the team's eventual victory?
Oh, I think it was real important. Oakland, I'll give their coaching staff a lot of credit. They scouted us. They had the videos of the game, and they shut down our power play pretty well. I think we ended up getting 1 power play goal on the night, but they overlooked us coming out of the blocks with a real fast start, and the big hook came out and pulled their goaltender after the first 3 goals. The other goaltender came in and played very well, and Oakland, didn't want to leave with 2 losses. But we weren't about to cooperate either, and I thought our team played extremely well to come away with the eventual win that night, Saturday night.
Definitely the last 52 minutes of Saturday's game were very tightly fought contests. So we'll let you in on some of the action this weekend and roll some of the highlights of the goals. As I say that, we may have some big hits and saves as well, so I shouldn't limit to just that.
You bet. The highlights are always the best. The goals.
There's Antti Halanto's first goal of his Cyclone Hockey career on the power play. There's another power play goal. There's Antti and Brandon Clark. Right back to Clark. Clark had a goal and 2 assists that game, and so did Antti.
Racking up the points for the defenseman.
Yeah, there's Buttermore's
empty net goal. Yeah, he did what the coach asked. Don't try to shoot it in outside the red line. It gives them a defensive zone face-off.
Yeah, the goal before this one was John Fable. His sheer effort beat out that defenseman and did the wraparound. There's another one. Guys fighting 2 checks to make goals happen.
Guys are moving their feet real well, showing good speed for this early in the season.
Absolutely. So we had 2 wins this weekend, a sweep of as we mentioned, the 11th ranked team in the country. So I guess what can we expect for the rankings? They'll be coming out later this week. So I guess what can we kind of expect in the rankings, hopefully, for the Cyclones?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's some eyebrows that went up, when we came in with preseason ranking of 18 and then moved to 12. I think a lot of people wondered, what warranted that, and then moving from 12 to 9. But, I think people are seeing Iowa State has won 9 good solid games, lost only 1 game in overtime, and that's to a very strong Oklahoma who is playing very well right now as well. I think we're down to a point where there's only one undefeated team in the country, and that's Penn State, that, is kind of moving in some scholarship-type athletes a year early. But that's fine. I like competition. The better the competition, the better it's going to go. Davenport had a split with Arizona State on the weekend. Both those teams are looking real strong. Pardon me, Lindenwood had a split with Arizona State, a couple of teams that we'll see later on. Davenport had suffered a couple of losses earlier, so this ranking will be interesting. I'd like to see us move into the top 8. And eventually, by playoff time, I'd like to see us in the top 4. That gives you the best seeding. And I know a lot of other coaches out there, will be saying, hey, the best way to move up is beat Iowa State. So we're going to have great competition all the way through the end of the season, I'm afraid, this year.
One of the keys to Saturday night's win was the goaltending of Paul Karras. And I talked to Paul real quick about it informally. And he deflected a lot of the credit to the defense in front of him. And that's not just the defenseman, but also the forward. So I guess in your mind or in your opinion, how important has it been for all the players buying into a two-way game for the team's success so far?
You bet. I think we make the comment at least once a weekend that team offense is fun and it's thrilling for the fans to watch the goals, but team defense is what wins national championships. So I think the players have bought into it. I know the coaching staff has. We've expanded our meeting schedule, so coaching staff meets at least once a day, prior to practice, and sometimes twice a day, just to go over what we're going to cover, why we're covering it, and what's working. And I think right now the chemistry amongst the coaching staff and the players is pretty darn good. With all the coaching staff being on the road, the early stages of this week, Brennan Sheehan stepped up, our D3 head coach and assistant coach with our D1 program, and did a great job at practice. I know Andrew Murdoch was out yesterday, and all the feedback's been positive. But then, when head coach is on the road, everybody wants to tell the head coach everything was just perfect. So keep a wary eye on them.
Well, the cat's away, they say.
That's right.
Also, I've heard it said and read it, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, the importance of players buying into their roles, into the team's success. I guess from what you've seen of the team so far, to what degree are the players buying into their roles this year, and is it more than previous years, and what's the importance of it?
I've seen players just not be perhaps a little bit frustrated with whatever position they're on or where they're at. They're playing with excitement, with enthusiasm. We've got, as I mentioned earlier, 2 units, the red unit and the yellow unit, that are playing most of the power play, getting most of the power play action. But at the same time, I know that the green and black unit can step in there and play the power play at any time. So they're learning how it works. Same thing on penalty killing. Ironically, the green and black have been playing really well on penalty killing. We shut down a couple of 5-on-3s on the weekend. And as much as I hate to get penalties, it gives the old coach a little bit of reassurance that we've got people that'll kill penalties no matter who we're playing against.
It definitely raised the blood pressure of the broadcaster a little bit. But it's definitely good to see. Before we go to break real quick, actually, Brandon Clark is our player of the week. Unable to join us tonight, but we probably should still discuss what was it about Brandon's game this weekend that helped earn him that recognition.
Yeah, I think good, consistent play, being the only veteran in a group of 5 players on the yellow unit, contributing a goal and 2 assists on Friday and some additional support on Saturday, I think made it a great weekend for him. He's got a good attitude, pretty positive. I think keeps the people around the dressing room pretty loose and jovial. And, sometimes that's necessary as well.
All right. Well, fans, As we thank you for tuning in tonight, we need to take a quick break. But after we return from the break, we'll be joined by Brody Toigo, and we'll talk more with Coach Murdoch about his trip this past weekend, or this past couple days, to Montreal. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you after the break.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
RBIs and 36 homers. Brings it the first pitch and fouls it deep back into the stand.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Is your money keeping you up at night? You can sleep a lot easier when it's in bank accounts insured by the FDIC. In more than 75 years, no one has ever lost a penny of insured deposits. That's a lot safer than under your mattress. Visit Edie the Estimator at myfdicinsurance.gov. Then you can sleep well.
What was up with that?
Welcome back, fans. Welcome to the Al Murdoch Show. I'm your host, Kevin Wey. Joined with, of course, the namesake of the show, Dr. Alan Murdoch. I'm also joined by, as you see on your screen, the better looking than both of us, Brody Toigo.
Hey, watch it. No, I'd debate that one.
Yeah. All right, better than at least one of us. Brody, welcome to the show. All right, well, talk a little bit first about Coach's trip up to Montreal the past couple days. Coach, tell us, you touched on it a little bit, but tell us more about the reason for heading up there.
Yeah, I guess, I've been around long enough. I get called on a lot to do different things, and USA Hockey asked me to be the college representative on the Hockey Equipment Certification Committee. That's where you look at the safety of things like the helmet, the masks, the shin pads, the gloves, the skates, the sticks. So they rotate the meetings around. This one happened to be in Montreal. USA Hockey covers all the expenses, so no expense to me or the team. I enjoy doing things like that. It spreads me a little bit thin, being that I barely got out of the game Saturday night and get home and get a couple hours sleep, and then I'm down in the airport in Des Moines on the way. But covered lots of good stuff, and of course, the biggest discussion item these days with hockey equipment certification is, helmets, types of helmets, masks, and with the concussion to Crosby. The meeting was held at the Reebok CCM main offices in Montreal. Really, it's their factory where they do the research and development, and of course there's Crosby's pictures everywhere on all the walls, and the talk is, will he be back or won't he be back? And of course Reebok CCM says, oh yeah, he's been cleared by the doctors, it's just a matter of time and he'll be back in the lineup. So I guess I hope to see that. From my perspective, hockey equipment safety is very, very important. Safety of the players is very important. I think it's a great game, and to have too much on the physical side. I know a lot of expansion in the U.S. in hockey, and college hockey in particular, and we'd love to see Iowa State as part of that expansion growth, but I do know that the administration of a lot of universities around the country are concerned about the safety and the welfare of the players. So I think it's the advantage of Iowa State to have representation at meetings like that.
Certainly. Which with talking the discussions there, what were some of the things that were maybe on the border that were discussed as possible solutions to bring concussions down? Yeah,
the bottom line is it isn't necessarily the safety of the helmet. You can build the best helmet in the world, but if there's violent contact violent collisions, violent checks. And then, of course, it didn't help at all for the highlight, on all the sporting channels of the fight on Friday night, where a guy was knocked out during the fight. And just a lot of people in the U.S. on university campuses don't understand that. And, I guess appreciate the fact that at the college level, we don't condone fighting, we don't allow it. So the president of Reebok and CCM came in and talked to our group for quite a while, and those were the first two things that he brought up. We need to have guys like Gretzky, who are very highly skilled players, who are just exciting to watch. We need to have them healthy and in the game. And we need to eliminate the things that can, hurt people. The violent side of it, the fights perhaps, where people are knocked unconscious. And, of course, having Brody here, I want to see him back in the lineup. He had a pretty good injury from a little over a year ago, and I think he's well on his way to recovery. But I definitely want our game to be safe so that, quality, talented players like Brody and Crosby and guys like that can continue playing for many more years.
Definitely. I guess, Brody, in your mind with concussions, I guess first, have you ever suffered any concussions?
Yeah, I have actually. A couple back in the day. Nothing as serious as Crosby's. I wasn't out that long with that, but I have actually.
All right, I guess that begs the question: what was the nature of the circumstances surrounding your concussions then?
Actually, mine was I was pretty young at the time. This was even before hitting was allowed, and a big guy. He actually went to the NHL somewhere, but he tossed me pretty good into the boards, and I woke up to my coach over top of me.
I guess, and in your mind with concussion, we talk a lot about helmets, but I guess how much of it comes down to elbow pads and shoulder pads and stuff like that? Yeah,
well, like Coach mentioned, you can only do so much with a helmet. It's going to come down to guys respecting the game and respecting each other, playing the game. When you see someone in a vulnerable position, maybe you don't take that hit, or, So I think it comes down to just the players and just keeping as clean as you can, really.
Certainly, obviously having played juniors, I assume you've worn the half shield a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess do you feel that that your opponents were more respectful of the half shields and the cages, or are things kind of in the U.S. college hockey kind of okay?
Yeah, no, I think with the half shield, I think guys are more aware out there with not so much with hits, but with their sticks more than anything. But even with the hits, like keeping your elbows down, and when you're by the glass or whatever, you won't go at the head. You're not supposed to anyways, but guys do. And with the cage, I think it's just people are they run more free out there. So I think the half shield does keep it, more safe in kind of a weird way.
It kind of seems like I seem to get injured less times in my life playing tackle football than flag football. But anyways, Coach, with half shields has been on the radar of college hockey for a little while, and there's some consideration by some people like, maybe that's, it's what the American Hockey League, all their players were half shields. Major juniors, all their players were half shields. The Southern Professional League, which former Cyclone alumni Glenn Toigo plays in, half shields. So a lot of reputable leagues go with that. In the future, can we expect maybe college hockey to reconsider or consider half shields?
I think it's a subject. I think it's a topic. We came very close this last year. It was part of the legislation at the ACHA meetings to maybe try an experimental league, and we applied to have our league be that league. It wasn't approved. It wasn't necessarily disapproved, but it wasn't approved at this point in time. I think they wanted to see more data on things like insurance. They just say when you wear half a shield, there are probably going to be some more cuts, and there's going to be some more people losing teeth, even if it's accidental, but that will cause insurance rates to go up. So they wanted to do a little more research on it and go forward from there. The irony of it is that we've been playing in the World University Games for quite a few years now, every 2 years, and the ACHA All-Stars started playing in it in 2001, and every other team, every other country wears half shields at that tournament. And this last go-around, USA Hockey approved our players to wear half shields, so all of our players wore them. We really didn't have any injuries to speak of, and from a personal viewpoint, for the first time I saw that the quality of play took a huge step forward. Passing was better, the shooting was better, just the entertainment value was better. So I think that's something that has to be considered as well.
There was a time back in the day when college hockey players, including those at Iowa State, didn't have to wear any facial protection. So I guess talk about when we started moving towards face mask and what the impetus was towards having that be part of the game.
Yeah, I think even in old-time hockey, when the NHL was, the big 6 cities, that there were players that, received pretty bad injuries. And with the advent of the better sticks that shoot the puck harder and quicker, and the Bobby Hull slap shot, then all of a sudden people were getting hit by the puck, more frequently. So with that advent, then goaltenders weren't even wearing masks in the old Big 6, but then goaltenders started to wear them. Jacques Plante was one of the first ones, and there was Jerry Cheevers and guys like that put marks on their face masks where they would have had stitches if they didn't have it on. And then all of a sudden you had players. I think a lot of it started when a player got injured, a broken jaw or a broken nose, and doctors would give them strict orders. You can't go on the ice anymore until it heals, or wear a mask. So some of them were starting to wear shields. And I think the half shield has all but eliminated eye injuries, which are scary, but they haven't eliminated all the injuries. I guess I'm in favor of the half shield. I think it improves the quality of the game, and it teaches players to have more respect for one another than the full shield. The full shield, some players out there forget and think they're playing tackle football, leading with their head instead of playing it the correct way.
Of course, and leading with your head can actually be more harmful for you in terms of neck injuries than for the other players. So.
Yeah.
All right, fans, we got to take one more quick break. After this final break, we'll talk more with Coach Murdoch, maybe a little bit more about safety. We'll talk more about Brody and how things are coming in his return to the ice, and preview the weekend against the Arizona Wildcats. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you right after the break.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Americans is struggling with hunger. Who's the 1 in 8 in your life? You can help today. Visit feedingamerica.org/1 in 8 to find your local food bank.
For more simple ways to fight the flu, visit www.flu.gov.
Where they got that picture. They probably need to get a better one.
Welcome back, fans. The Al Murdoch Show, where we have lots of fun discussing things off air. Kevin Wey joined with Dr. Murdoch, and of course Brody Toigo. Brody, obviously you're not on the ice back yet in terms of game action, but I guess if the discerning fan was paying attention, they would have noticed a certain number 10 during warm-up. So I guess how did it feel to be able to skate out there, at least in front of the fans, for a little bit?
Yeah, no, it felt good. I've been practicing, since practice started, little by little. Each week I'm staying out there a little longer, so I decided just to go out there for warm-ups to see how it felt and put the jersey back on for the first time in a while, and it felt great. So hopefully not too much longer here.
What are the projections for your return right now?
Well, I saw my doctor a couple weeks ago, and he said everything's kind of going on track right now, but I'm still waiting for him to give me the go-ahead. I still am pretty I'm still limited to everything I want to do out there. I can't take the big shot I like, and you know, I'm like just the transition game. I'm still kind of a little weary of there, but I feel a lot better than I did at the start of the year. So I'm just gonna keep going at it day by day, and like I said, hopefully get back in there sooner than later.
For fans who maybe not have caught the article in the Daily earlier this year, which covered it pretty well, I guess remind fans about what happened to you in missing last year.
Yeah. A couple years ago, we made that run at the Nationals first game there. I took an awkward hit and just landed weird and herniated 2 of my discs, my L4, L5. And over the first summer there, doctors kind of told me to wait out on the surgery, and if I did the right things that it would heal properly, but it never ended up doing that. So finally, last June, I got the operation done, so just been battling ever since.
Yes, Coach, obviously missing, Brody made a big impact, obviously, at his first couple of years here. So what was the impact on the team of not having him last year?
Yeah, it was like almost like when you graduate too many players. You know, there was holes in the lineup, and we missed them. And at the same time, you know, my belief is we want people to be healthy, and we want them to, you know, do all the other things. Hockey is kind of a sideline, but he's pretty passionate about it. We've got his brother here now. You know. Part of my recruiting ploy, wouldn't it be great to have brothers play? I've had lots of brother combinations over the years, but I think these could prove to be good. I saw him practicing out there today, and I think we might have been practicing power play or penalty kill or whatever, and I saw him play a shift with his brother where he was on the right point and his brother was on the left point. Looked pretty darn good, but at the same time, you know, we want to go by what he feels. I think he'll tell us as soon as anybody will, you know, if and when he's ready. And I think it'll be a great addition to the lineup. I know people are nervous around the country that we'd have Brody Toigo back because, without a doubt, I considered him one of the top defensemen in the ACHA. You know, that gave us that impetus to make it to the championship game, you know, a year ago.
As Coach mentioned, your brother's here, Dominic here's this year. As Coach mentioned, you're looking pretty good. I guess, what's it like having Dominic on the team, and what's been your assessment so far of his play?
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun just having him around here. You know, I've been away from home for the last couple of years, so I only get to see him at Christmas time and summer. So it's you know, it's good having him around. But no, I think he's looking great out there on the ice. He's getting lots of ice time, playing on the #1 unit there. So I think he's fitting in quite well.
All right, I guess maybe one last question about Dom. I guess what are the differences between you and Dom in style of play?
I don't know. I'm gonna throw him under the bus here. No, I mean I think he plays a lot like me. You know, uses his slap shot a lot, as much as possible. That's kind of my go-to as well. So I think we both kind of see the ice the same way. You know.
Certainly, yeah. I've definitely been impressed with Dominic as well so far. I guess moving to this weekend's games against the Wildcats. I guess what can we expect of the Wildcats?
Oh, they're going to be good. They're going to be real good. University of Arizona has a great tradition. They've got a brand new coach that came in during the summer, Sean Hogan. Ironically, he coached the team we played last weekend, Oakland University. He coached them when they were Division II and took them to the national championship, and they won it. And then the following year, they played Division I and won the Division I national championship. So he's been to the dance. He's been there. He spent last year with Western Michigan Division I scholarship program as a member of their coaching staff and video coach. So he'll have these guys pretty well prepared. He's been in town before. They're flying in on Thursday from Arizona, and they'll be practicing Friday and playing us Friday night, Saturday night, and we give them a lift back to the airport on Sunday morning with a couple of losses and a few bruises, and we'll call it a day from there. But expect big crowds. Get your tickets. Get them early. Love all the support of our sponsors. Pizza Hut is one of our big sponsors. As a matter of fact, I can smell that pizza coming in the door. It's so darn good. Pizza Pit and a lot of the other sponsors. We love homecoming weekend. It's going to be a great one.
And it should prove to be an exciting weekend and a very important weekend, so we definitely encourage you to come on and watch some great hockey. So we thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you again next week, and we'll see you at the rink. Good night.